Finding and working with the perfect illustrator can feel overwhelming and sometimes risky. You've poured your heart and soul into your story, and now it's time to bring it to life with beautiful illustrations. But choosing the right illustrator is one of the most important steps in creating your book. I have seen too many authors get burnt when they choose the wrong person. Some get ripped off on Fiverr, ending up with clip art instead of original illustrations. Others hire someone who disappears halfway through the project. And now there's a new problem: AI art being passed off as hand drawn illustrations. This is happening all over Facebook. Authors are posting looking for help, and illustrators are sharing AI generated portfolios. It's frustrating and honestly heartbreaking. It can completely derail your book, and I don't want that to happen to you. This video is about how to choose and collaborate with the right illustrator so your book gets the quality it deserves. They can make your story unforgettable, but the wrong one can be unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. So let's talk about how you can avoid these problems and find an illustrator who's a great match for you and your book. I'll walk you through how to find, evaluate, and work with an illustrator to ensure your book is everything you dreamed it would be. Finding your illustrator. Choosing and working with the right illustrator is a critical part of creating a children's book. Here's a step-by-step guide. Step 1. Looking for the right illustrator. It's important to search in the right places. Use trusted platforms like My Company, Get Your Book Illustrations, or platforms like Behance or Upwork. These sites showcase portfolios from illustrators who often specialize in book illustration. Optional, if you're unsure of which illustration style or styles you like, go to the library or Amazon and look for some styles you love. This will give you a better idea of what to look for when you start looking for an illustrator. Once you're ready, start by reviewing portfolios. When reviewing portfolios, pay attention to these key details. Style. Find a style you love that matches your story's tone and audience. For example, whimsical illustrations might suit a light-hearted story, while detailed, realistic artwork could enhance a more serious theme. Consistency. Do characters look the same from page to page? Inconsistent character design can make your book feel disjointed. Does the illustration style remain consistent from page to page or from illustration to illustration? Some illustrators have more than one style, but in one book, they should only use one style. Storytelling ability. Look for illustrations that convey emotion, movement, and atmosphere. A strong illustrator can tell a story through their art, even without text. Here are some illustrations that show character consistency and tell a story from Ralphie Moss's Garden by Nancy Pushkar. These are illustrated by Get Your Book Illustrations. Book experience. Check if the illustrator has worked on books before. Illustrating a book is different from standalone artwork. It requires understanding the flow of a story and working with text. If it's unclear if they've illustrated books, ask them for books they've illustrated. Budget. If their pricing is not listed anywhere, get at least a ballpark figure from them so you know if it will be an option to hire them or not. If you didn't watch the previous edition of the KidLit Creators Chronicle about AI art, I highly recommend you to check it out to avoid being scammed by someone selling AI art as hand-drawn art. I'll put a link in the description. Be cautious when hiring inexperienced illustrators. Working with a less experienced illustrator can save money, but it's important to ensure they understand the specific requirements of illustrating for books. Just because someone can draw doesn't mean they know how to illustrate a book. Creating artwork for a picture book isn't just about drawing beautiful images. It's about telling a story through the illustrations, and understanding the technical aspects of book design. Here are a few things to watch for. Storytelling. The illustration should enhance and expand on the story, adding depth and emotion to each scene rather than simply repeating the text. Text placement. The illustrator must leave adequate neutral space for the text. This ensures the story is clear and easy to read. Margins and bleed. Professional illustrators know to extend the artwork slightly beyond the page edges, it's called bleed, and to keep key elements within safe margins to avoid essential elements being trimmed during printing. The gutter. The gutter, the centerfold where the two pages meet, shouldn't obscure any crucial parts of the illustration, like a character's face or the important details in the scene. If you're going to work with an inexperienced illustrator, ensure they know or learn exactly how book illustration works. And learn for yourself so you can check that it's being done correctly or get input from a professional illustrator or book designer. This extra step can save you time, money, and frustration later in the process. I promise I have had to save quite a few authors who ended up with illustrations that needed extensive work to be able to place the text and be put in a book and be printable. Step 2, communication. A good working relationship is key to a successful project. Schedule a phone call or chat via email. Talk to potential illustrators before hiring them. Share your vision and ask questions about their process. Do they seem professional, clear, and easy to work with? Key things to look for include: do they answer your questions clearly? Are they personable and easy to work with or easy to chat with? Do they respond promptly? Discuss their process. Ask how they approach book illustration. Will they provide sketches or storyboards before finalizing illustrations? How do they handle feedback and revisions? Check for technical knowledge. Make sure they understand, leaving room for text placement, margins, bleed, and gutter requirements, creating artwork that meets the printer's specifications. Step 3, contracts and agreements. Before starting, protect yourself and the illustrator by signing a clear contract. It should include ownership rights, specify whether you'll own the illustrations outright or if the illustrator retains certain rights, for example, to use their art in their portfolio. Revision limits, define how many revisions are included in the price. This prevents unexpected costs down the line. Deadlines. Set clear timelines for sketches, revisions, and final artwork to keep the project on track. In the description, there's a link to a contract template that you can use and edit. Working with your illustrator. The 4-step illustration process. Once you've chosen the right illustrator, I recommend following the following process. Following this process step by step helps ensure you get a result you love and prevents unnecessary revisions. Giving your illustrator feedback at each stage allows you to make changes early, so you only move forward when you know you are on the right track. Character design. Before moving into full illustrations, start with character, concepts, sketches, and then color. This step ensures your main characters fit your vision, and giving feedback early helps to avoid major changes later. Character concepts, sketches, and color for Toffeevale Tales, Cyril and Regal's Peppermint Pond Adventure. These were illustrated by Get Your Book Illustrations, and they show the process. Then storyboard. A rough black and white sketch of the entire book lays out how the illustrations will be positioned across the pages. This step helps to establish pacing, composition, and text placement. Making structural changes here is much easier than later in the process. Here's an example of a storyboard created for Little Fish's Fruity Roll Song by Sanya Chuktai. and illustrated by Get Your Book Illustrations. Sketches. Once the storyboard is finalized, I recommend having your illustrator create more detailed black and white or pencil sketches for each page. This allows you to refine the details before moving on to the final artwork. And that brings us to color. After approving the sketches, the illustrator will add color, depth, and texture, bringing your book to life. This is the last stage for adjustment before preparing the illustrations for print. By following this process, you and your illustrator can work together smoothly, ensuring a polished, professional-looking book that really captures your vision. Maintaining a good working relationship. So, with your illustrator, respect their expertise. Remember, you hired the illustrator because you admired their work and trusted their ability to bring your story to life. Let them do what they do best. While it's natural to have a vision for your book, try to give the illustrator room to explore their creativity. Fixed ideas on your part can sometimes limit the illustrator's ability to deliver their best work. So be open to their instinct and expertise. Keeping an open dialogue about your vision will lead to a better result than micromanaging every detail. Trusting your illustrator can often bring wonderful, unexpected elements to your story. Provide clear instructions upfront. The illustrator needs to know certain essential details upfront to ensure their work aligns with your vision. It can be very frustrating for an illustrator if the author gives almost no instructions, letting the illustrator feel they may create freely, and then they have to change everything because the author decided what they actually wanted in advance already, but they didn't communicate their idea. While it's important to give the illustrator creative freedom, be sure to clearly outline anything you absolutely want in the book. So by that I mean, for example, your main character details. Is the main character a boy or a girl? What's their age? Are there any distinguishing features, for instance, glasses, hair color, or specific clothing that they really need to have? Cultural or environmental elements. If the story takes place in a specific culture or geographical setting, the illustrator should know about it to ensure accuracy and relevance. Other must-haves. Is there a specific mood, color scheme, or recurring theme you want to see throughout the book? Limiting these requirements to what is truly essential will allow the illustrator to bring their own creative flair to the project while ensuring that the illustrations align with your vision. Provide clear feedback. Once the illustrator begins creating, be specific about what you like and what needs improvement. Instead of vague comments like, "This doesn't work," focus on actionable suggestions like, "Can we make the character's expression more excited in this scene?" That's something specific that they can work with. Remember, illustrators are not mind readers, so clear communication will save time and avoid frustration on both sides. Understand the difference between preferences and right or wrong. So it's important to recognize that your preferences are just that, they're preferences. If an illustrator envisioned something differently from how you imagined it, that doesn't mean they're wrong. Their interpretation is based on their creative expertise and perspective, and it may add depth and creativity you hadn't considered. However, if after thoughtful consideration you feel strongly that their vision doesn't align with yours, it's okay to communicate this. Just be sure to approach the conversation with respect. So avoid belittling their work or assuming their perspective is wrong simply because it differs from your own. Constructive communication is key to maintaining a positive and a productive collaboration. The same character or scene, for instance, can be envisioned in many different ways. Be responsive Timely communication is essential to keep the project moving forward. Respond promptly to questions or requests for feedback to avoid unnecessary delays. A good working relationship depends on clear, consistent communication. By following these steps, you will not only find an illustrator who can bring your vision to life, but also have a successful and collaborative working relationship to create a book that both you and your readers will love. Don't skimp on your illustration budget. I understand it's tempting to choose the cheapest option, especially if you're feeling financial pressure, but cutting corners almost always leads to a lower quality book. Don't take a route where in a year or two you look back and you wish you had invested a little more to create a book you're truly proud of. I've seen so many authors end up in frustrating situations because they tried to save money by hiring low quality or unprofessional illustrators. Some hired people who completely disappeared mid project, leaving them scrambling to finish their book. Others ended up with illustrations that weren't usable, characters that changed from page to page, text areas that didn't fit, or artwork that didn't meet printing requirements like bleed and margins. Investing in a professional, experienced illustrator may cost more upfront, but it'll save you countless headaches in the long run. Illustrations are one of the most important parts of a children's book, and they are worth the cost. High quality illustrations can bring your story to life, make your book stand out, and give it a timeless, professional feel. Even if it means you're stretching your budget a bit or waiting a little longer to save up, the result will be a book you are proud to share with children for years to come. Real life examples. For this edition, I thought a few testimonials from my company, Get Your Book Illustrations, may be the perfect way to showcase what it can be like when you choose the right illustrator. So here we go. I had a very clear vision for my picture book and needed the illustrations to match the story. Get Your Book Illustrations was an absolute dream to work with. The illustrator was amazing and brought my vision to life with so much care. The book designer added fun and creative elements to make the story shine, and my project manager answered all my questions, even during the publishing phase. The entire process was collaborative and enjoyable, and now my dream project is a reality. Every time I look at my book sitting on the shelf, it brings tears to my eyes. I can't recommend Get Your Book Illustrations enough to first-time authors or anyone looking to create a beautiful book. And that is from Cassandra Troughton, The Tree Spot. I began collaborating with Karen's team at Get Your Book Illustrations in May to publish my debut book. The timeline was ambitious. Completion of illustrations, book design, cover, and more within just 1 month. To my delight, the team not only met the deadline but exceeded my expectations through their exceptional professionalism. The illustrator's work was fantastic, and I'm thoroughly impressed by the originality and skill in the drawings. Karen's team showed immense patience and dedication to accommodate all my last changes, and the final product is incredible. Whether you're a first-time author or experienced, I wholeheartedly recommend Get Your Book Illustrations. Their professionalism and commitment to delivering high-quality work amazed me. This is from Benjamin Hu, The Philosopher's Odyssey. And here's another one. My dream was to create a book that autistic and non-autistic children could enjoy together. Karen and her team made my vision come to life. Anastasia, the illustrator, blew me away with her work. It's like she read my mind. She added thoughtful details I hadn't even mentioned. Keisha, the book designer, was equally amazing and made custom adjustments that brought everything together. I was emotional when I saw the final product. Words can't express how happy I am. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for making my dream a reality. I recommend Get Your Book Illustrations to anyone who wants to see their imagination brought to life. It's like magic. Moza Hamid, Hunting Orange. Over to you. What is the most important quality you are looking for in an illustrator? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you're ready to get amazing illustrations delivered with friendly, efficient service, check out Get Your Book Illustrations. We have a proven track record and we really do love what we do. Choosing the right illustrator might feel like a big task, but it's also one of the most exciting parts of making your book. The right illustrator will take your story and turn it into something even more magical than you imagined. Take it one step at a time. You're closer to creating an amazing book than you might think. Thank you for watching.